Hello, this is Robert for Doomsday Debunked and to help the people who are very scared. And at the moment, it's about a very silly story about a claim that a world monarch has told Freemasons to kill all the white people north of the equator. I mean, why would anyone believe that? But anyway, I do understand that people get very scared and they panic, and it's a bit like Chicken Little, and you go and read all these things and your mind you just can't think clearly. So the first thing you have to do when everyone around you is panicking, and not everyone in the world, hardly anyone probably has even heard of this, but the people in your social group, then first of all you need to stop searching for this thing that is scaring you. It goes the opposite direction from what you would think would help. And when you're panicking, of course you want to find out more about the thing that scares you. But this is a kind of propaganda and a kind of indoctrination that you're doing to yourself. So the first thing is to stop. And this will likely be very hard for the first hour if you've been searching and searching and searching, and then to even take an hour off from searching to do something else. But that's what you need to do. And try to find something else that engages your mind, that becomes interesting. You want the searching to become a distraction and your everyday life to continue as it is before. So that's the first thing to do. And just try it as an experiment and see, I will try it for 5 minutes, I will try it for an hour, not searching. And then try this slow breathing. So this is not meditation, this is just breathing slowly. So you breathe in, then you relax, then you breathe out. You breathe in, and you have a rest, and then you breathe out. And just doing that, it doesn't matter what else you're doing. You could be reading, it could be any sort of activity, except it's harder to do if you're doing something very energetic. And just breathe slowly. And if you do that for 10 minutes, then and if necessary for 20 minutes, maybe you need more than that, then you will find that your mind is quite a bit calmer at the end of that. Most people find that. Since I discovered this, and I've suggested this to people, and I've had a lot of feedback, and this was suggested by health professionals, and I'm just passing on this message. And from what I found from researching into the advice as to what to do to help people, and the feedback is it really does help a lot. So try slow breathing. And then this page I'll put as a link. And there are many other tips here. And I've got a video here, and go and visit the De-Stress Monday site. That's a non-profit public health initiative associated with Columbia, Johns Hopkins and Syracuse universities. Here are some of their breathing gifts. They have the same tip. So you can use one of their breathing gifts. And then they also have many other videos and 6 other gifts. They also have videos. This is their chair yoga, which is a form of yoga you can do very easily, even if not very mobile, just sitting in a chair. And then there's the mindfulness unwind this Monday with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 coping technique, which is to do with spotting 5 things that you can see. I'll bring it up. With De-Stress Monday, have a look at the things that they suggest here. And so there you look at 5 things you can see, acknowledge 4 things you can touch, you don't have to actually touch them, acknowledge 3 things that you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste around you. These can also be memories. So anyway, you can try that, and just try following their advice there, and that many people find that helps. Some tips from CBT and the stop skill, which is also very helpful if you're panicking. So you go there and you just pause for a moment, take 1 deep breath, observe what thoughts are going on, where's the focus and what you're reacting to, and then pull back and get some perspective. What's the bigger picture? Take the helicopter view, like your life as a whole. What advice would you give to a friend who's panicking like you are? And what would a trusted friend say to you right now? And is this thought a fact or an opinion? And in this case it's a rumour or a viral silly story. And what's the more reasonable explanation? that this chap is just a bullshitter. And how important is this? How important will it be in 6 months' time? Well, it's not going to be important at all after today, because today is that date, and it will pass. Well, it will. And so you can do that sort of thing. By tomorrow, you'll have all forgotten about it. You'll be, well, you have a great release, maybe a party, and then you start you start doing something to celebrate, and then you'll have forgotten about it. And then you'll likely get caught up in the next thing that fears you, if you're one of these people who get scared over and over. But try to learn from this one when it's over, that these things really are bullshit, and if you listen, if you have something like this that seems like nonsense, it really is nonsense. So, and then this is advice from a therapist who passed it on to a friend, who passed it on to me, and said, when an obsessive thought like this one comes into your head, to just not react to it. So, like when you think, oh, I must go and search, then you don't need to react to it. Let that thought be. If it's scary, do not give it more power by thinking about it constantly. And then doing the breathing and affirmations like, this is just a thought like any other thought. A thought doesn't mean anything is going to happen. And that's the same for these scary viral stories. They're just a thought. Just a thought that someone else had, that they made into a YouTube video, that you then got from YouTube, and it then became a thought in your mind. And it doesn't mean that anything's going to happen, it's just a thought. And then some of you will be sick and things. There's various advice here about what to do, and you need to make sure you have plenty of sleep. There's an advice for power naps if you find it difficult to sleep because you're so scared. And then the 7 tips. So those will help you too. Lots of this is I've done through the tips that have helped people in the group. I made them into this. People in the group then say that it helps. I shared these 7 tips, and lots of people say they find them helpful. So you've got to see it's nonsense and bullshit. So I've already done the debunk, and hopefully most of you can see this thing is nonsense. And then you'll still be very scared. You can't stop yourself thinking about it, and that's where you need to be patient with yourself, and just understand that this is going to happen. And then you've got the cognitive therapy. Health professionals can help. The breath meditation, doing other things with your life. Maybe you just even silly things like maybe you've never been able to do a cartwheel, and you're very unlikely to succeed if you haven't done it all your life. But why not just give it a go and see if you can turn a cartwheel, or see if you can juggle. It doesn't matter if you fail at it. The main thing is just to try something that engages your mind. Try juggling for 10 minutes, even though you're absolutely hopeless at it. And just something to engage your mind. And be sure you continue to eat plenty, that's very important. If you can't eat a lot all in one go, try eating a little bit at a time. And make sure that you've got plenty of sleep and the power naps. And then some people find it helps to think about what you plan after the day. So this is the day when people are scared just now. Think about what you're going to do next week, and try and get your full mind onto that. Or something you're looking forward to. When I wrote this, then they were looking forward. A fair number of the young children, especially, and some of the adults, were looking forward to the movie release of My Little Pony. So at that time, I mean that's a past thing, but you'll have something like that you're looking forward to. So try to go to that, and then continue with everyday things. You don't need to take time off work to search for this, or off school. Don't phone in sick and say I can't go to school because you're scared and want to keep searching. That's a natural reaction to do, but no, just keep going on with your everyday life, and you'll find that it kind of fades away. And this thought being in the background, it's so uncomfortable doing your everyday life with these thoughts. But this is far better than searching and getting more and more scared, where you're far more uncomfortable than just doing what you normally do in your life with these same thoughts. And just going on around with your everyday life. I've got this picture of a postman, so if you're a postman, just go to work and do your postman thing. And then the number one thing is to stop reading the sensationalist news, stop watching YouTube, because you're continually scaring yourself. And once you know it is bullshit, why do that? It's the number one thing. Unsubscribe, and find ways to block the news. If necessary, then if you have friends who are continually bringing this thing up, then sometimes you can't. Perhaps sometimes if they're a close friend, you don't want to kind of just cut them off or anything like that. But try and find another social circle with different ideas that you can engage with. Try to just kind of, make it clear you're not really keen on talking about the latest bullshit, false prophecy or whatever. And on Facebook, you can say that you want to see less of this. You don't need to do big radical changes, but try to make at least small changes in your life. Open up other things. So sometimes I help people whose entire social circle reinforces the thing that they're scared of. And in that case, it can really help. You can't, if it's your family or if it's your close friends or your colleagues at work, you can't just cut them off, and that's not advisable. That's not good. But try to find other people who have a different view on it, to give you a different perspective, and just associate a little bit. To have a little tendency to associate a bit more with with people like that, to give you another perspective and to help ground you. So anyway, hope that helps. And any thoughts, any questions, do say.